Thank you, Tanya, and welcome everybody, and good morning. So Brixton Metals, I like to call this a multi-generational opportunity because this story has really evolved for Brixton, and we're an exploration company, and it's when we started Brixton in 2010, it was actually a gold-focused company, but over the years we've learned more and more about the asset, and it's really grown, and it's expanded significantly since about 2018, and now really dominantly a copper-focused project, but it's really copper-gold, but it's kind of morphed into more of a copper play for us. Yeah, we have a strong technical team, a lot of geologists on our team. I mean, we're explorationists. We're out looking for those the next big discoveries, and that's what we're all about. For the most part, we've got a strong ex-Pritium geologist team with bringing Christine Anstey on. So she spent about 5 years at Brucejack, and so we have a lot of ex-Pritium geologists on the team. So really a focus on, again, copper gold. The company actually has 4 assets. Our flagship is in British Columbia. It's called THORN, but we do have an asset in Montana called Hog Heaven. We've now farmed that out to Ivanhoe Electric. So the other assets we are looking to monetize. Back in about 2016, we started to think about maybe acquiring other assets into the portfolio. And then over the last few years, we've kind of taken a bit of a turn and looking to really focus our team and our resources on THORN, which we believe is the prize, and looking to monetize our non-core assets. I think a lot of people know about the copper demand that's coming. It's pretty remarkable. I think this is a good representation of what we've done as a civilization, 700 million tons to date as a human civilization in copper production, and we need twice that in the next less than 30 years. I don't think that's realistic, but just goes to show the amount of copper that we're going to need, and I think the opportunity is tremendous for the exploration business and for the mining business, and I think BC has the opportunity to deliver a lot of that copper in the future. Just some more on the copper demand. S&P came out with an interesting piece on copper recently as well. Looks like they're fairly much in balance for the next year or two, and then we're going to see a pretty significant imbalance. So we should start to see that copper price moving higher in the next few years, pretty significantly. And there's a good quote out of Codelco. We only need one of these escondidas every year, so because you can just flip on these copper mines. So that's really a good opportunity for us to go out and find these new deposits. A little bit about Brixton. Share cap, we're about a 65 million market cap company today, trading around 17 cents. We're pretty proud to attract the world's largest miner. BHP came into Brixton at November last year for 19.9% of the company. That's a huge endorsement for us and the project and all the work we're doing. And obviously Crescat's our second largest shareholder, so we're pretty excited. They've been a big supporter of Brixton. And for the size of the company, we actually have 3 billionaires as shareholders as well. So we're excited about the shareholder base and all the good work we have in front of us. So it's just a map showing where our assets are. Again, really, the THORN is our flagship project. That's where we're focusing most of our resources. We have about a $14 million budget this year in the ground. We had 3 drills turning, about 50 people in camp. And we do have a project in Atlan, the old Atlan Goldfields, that we'll be looking to monetize. We have an asset in Ontario called Langus, a silver cobalt play that we'll look to monetize. And then we have the Hog Heaven project, which is option to Ivanhoe Electric. So THORN, Northwest BC, it's close. Actually, the closest town is Juneau, Alaska. We're about 90 km from Juneau. We do service out of Whitehorse or Atlan as our main focus point. It's actually relatively easy to get to. And I've done it several times, leaving Vancouver in the morning, and that can be in camp for lunch, which you can't say for a lot of Northwest BC projects. But, it's infrastructure challenged. There is a road that ran up to the Golden Bear mine on the southern end of the property. So there is potential road access in the future, something that we're working on infrastructure-wise, but right now it's all air support, fixed wing access to an airstrip on site, and then it's heli support around the project. But one of the things that really launched this claim group to be now the largest mineral claim holdings contiguous block in BC, some 2,800 square kilometers. And the 2018, the BC government regional geologist, as an open file that put out a bunch of reprocessing for porphyry copper gold weighted sums. And this area ranked as one of the highest ranking porphyry anomalies in the province. And it was largely open ground, so we jumped on it, and that's partly why we got such a big block here. And we subsequently have done a couple transactions to fill in some of the holes. But it's, relatively early stage. But it's not, it's not all Brixton's work. There was, at least a dozen companies before Brixton that was here. The original discovery was here in 1952 by Cominco geologists. You can see the numbers here. A lot of drilling's been done throughout the property, but if you go from sort of northwest tip to southeast, that's like an 80-kilometer trend. So it's a big block, lots of ground to cover. And, we continue to work on some of these other targets. And we've been finding a lot of really exciting new showings, brand new outcrops that have never been sampled before, and partly because of glacial retreat, but partly because just getting guys out there and doing the old-fashioned boots on the ground prospecting and sampling. So it's been quite effective for us. And we have a lot of samples from this year as well, and we've recently published some of those, really high copper gold numbers. So 14 large-scale targets that we've identified. Most of the work we've been doing since we had this project really been around the Camp Creek target, and then most recently Trapper the last few years on the Trapper. So Camp Creek's more of a copper porphyry discovery, which we'll talk about, and then Trapper's more of a gold-focused target, and then they kind of a mix of copper-gold. This is the same map showing the gold distribution from the sampling we've done to date. I think there's still lots more to come with more sampling, but it's really a copper-gold, large-scale copper-gold system. And what we're recognizing is in the northern part, we've got Cretaceous age intrusions, and the central part, we've got more Triassic age intrusions hosting mineralization. We do see some Eocene mineralization, so it's quite a diverse geological story that we're unraveling here. Excuse me. Now, Camp Creek is an interesting one because it's a blind porphyry discovery that we made, but it's taken us 10 years to find the porphyry, and partly because when you see this Camp Creek, it's high sulfate alteration, quite intensely altered. A lot of the previous operators, and Brixton included, in the early days were drilling fairly shallow here, and these high sulfidation veins, breccia zones, generating some nice high copper, silver, and gold numbers. But it wasn't really till about 2019 when we were drilling into the diatreme here, and we tagged into some porphyry fragments in the diatreme with mineralization in it, and gave us some confidence that we just need to drill deeper. So all the work that we have done over the last decade just kept telling us to drill deeper. And it wasn't really till 2019, you can see 2019, but 2021 really we confirmed a deep porphyry here by pushing these holes down to like 1,200 meters. So you can see hole 184, 821 meters of 0.48 copper equivalent. So it's about 50% copper and then 50% combined gold, silver, and moly. So, I mean, this represents, it looks like those holes are clustered together, but they're all quite well spaced at 200 to 300 meter spacing. And this year was really a exercise in taking pretty large steps. We're in at 200, 300, some of our holes are 700 meter steps out to see how big this thing. So we've been working around this about a kilometer by a kilometer area to see what the footprint of this system is. And we've been drilling deeper holes down to the 1,600 meter level. So to us, it looks like a block cave underground scenario for us. Still relatively early days. We still have lots of holes to drill here, but it's a pretty exciting new copper porphyry target for us. And that's just showing where we stack up in the world of copper intercepts. Obviously, I'd like to see Brixton higher up on the list, but I'd say, given we're drilling nearly a kilometer of mineralization here, I think we're approaching economic grades, and so we're excited to see what comes out of this year's drilling. Just a little bit on the trapper target. A lot of the work we've done in sort of the main area, and this is where a lot of the historical work was done, and the work we've done over the last decade has been focused around this area, just because the camp is up. You can see with a little house up there, the northern part of the map, that's where the camp and airstrip is. So it's just closer action to where the camp is. But there's 11 kilometer anomaly here, from Camp Creek to Trapper. And we've done a fair amount of work on the outlaw target as well. That's a large a geochem anomaly, 5K by 1K. Surface geochem anomaly that actually was worked originally by Chevron in the 80s. And we've continued to work on that and had some good drilling on that. And then when we got onto the Trapper target, we acquired that in 2020. We didn't have those original claims. We started doing some work down at Trapper, and we got pretty excited with some of these surface sampling. We've been collecting some really high, up to 150 gram gold, 152 gram gold in situ with visible gold in the rocks, both in the Stuhini-Lapilli Tooth volcanics, but also in the diorite, Cretaceous age diorite unit. So we've got about 3 seasons drilling on this target, and it's looking quite interesting. We don't always see visible gold, but it's associated with base metal veins or quartz stockwork or even some pyrite veins. It's structurally controlled. It seems to like that rheology between the Stuhini volcanics and the diorite. And you can see some of the numbers here. 64 meters of 5.7 grams, 250 of 1.4, including 93 of 3.2. So some pretty impressive intercepts. I think our longest hole was almost 400 meters of just about a gram. So it's down to about 400 meters. It's about 350 meters strike. And we're still looking to expand and see where this thing goes. And yeah, so it's kind of a fun target for us. It's just a section looking to the southwest. It's actually that zone is actually coming out at you, sort of plunging to the north. You can see around that contact, the grades do seem to increase on that change in lithology. Just some more shots of the VG. It's always good to see. And then one of the exciting areas for us in the central part of the property called METLA. Again, this is some claims that we didn't have till about 2020. But a lot of these samples were taken that really were never sampled before because of the glacial retreat. So these are samples that, with the ice pulling back, we've been able to pull some pretty impressive chalcopyrite and bornite samples. And we have some new samples to the south. Found it looks like another zone to the south of here, perhaps a cyanide unit. So we're looking to continue to do work on this and get this thing to a point where we could drill it, as some of the targets up to the east where we've spent a fair amount of time there. And some of the samples from the METLA, bornite with visible gold, some pretty impressive numbers coming out of here. We've done some trenching on some nice chalcopyrite veins as well. So we're still trying to figure out the system. It's a huge area, trying to whittle it down to a drill target and continue to work on some of the other targets. So I think the project has a lot to offer, not only on the targets that we're advancing, the Camp Creek and Trapper, but I think there's more discoveries to be made on this project. And all the geologists are excited because they continue to find new stuff on a regular basis. And so that's an exciting thing that we can generate new targets in an area like this.